Hey everyone, welcome back to the Empire Total War Austrian campaign, and I really have not played in quite a long time, because, I'm being honest here, I actually played ahead a little bit in the campaign to just see where things were going to go, and I got really far, but all of a sudden the game kind of glitched on me, forcing me to go back several turns, so kind of annoyed me, so I just didn't really play for a while. But anyway, the reason I had skipped ahead because not a whole lot interesting or recording worthy really was playing for a lot of the time, but a few things that happened were really cool, and I want to show you guys that. And one of the things I want to show is this one battle which happened against Poland in one of their strongest regions. You know, Lithuania. Yeah, I was actually sending an army around to raid Lithuania because I was getting tired of them just continuously laying siege to a bunch of places, and that's pretty much why I skipped ahead so many turns, because I was just so bored of fighting all these sieges, and I bet you guys were all even more bored watching all of those siege battles because they were just getting extremely repetitive. But this battle I'm about to show you is a lot different. And it's actually very significant because it actually signifies me actually making progress in my war against Poland. Because I kind of around to raid this one area to try and entice them to attack me. The first turn they actually do not attack me, and so thinking that it's useless, I'm about to send my army back into Poland to head off this one threat from Warsaw. But before my army can leave, the enemy army foolishly comes out from the fortified garrison of the fortified area of Lithuania and decides to attack me straight up in a plain field battle, where I have massive artillery superiority. I have 5 units of artillery, which is the most I've ever had in any field battle, and they're the ones attacking me, which means they're going to be sending their... I'm going to speed this up, but it basically means they're going to be sending their infantry straight up attacking my position complete with artillery, which means they're going to get bombarded with canister shot as they come close. And they don't even try for any kind of tactical subtlety necessarily. They just pretty much send their men straight up under my position. And the results will be seen in just a few. But first we just have to wait until I'm done deploying. The dispositions that you see me using right now are actually not what I eventually end up going with. In reality, I actually deploy my men much farther back, like around here, so that my right flank especially can rest on a good little hill there. And so that my flank can also kind of rest on that village. Like, I think about deploying them as far forward as this at first, but I just realized before I actually started the battle that this deployment was not a particularly good idea. So I change it in a few seconds here. My general. And I have these Pandora irregulars finally. Of course, I'm always really short on cavalry, which is really unfortunate and ironic playing as Austria, because Austria is supposed to specialize in its cavalry, but for the most part, besides the Lancers are good, but the rest of their cavalry is not really all that good, so I don't really see the point in having a ton of them for the most part. I really want to do is maximize my firepower more than my offensive shock troops, personally, because I'm the kind of person who honestly just prefers to fight defensively anyway, whenever it is possible, rather than attacking the foe. Because it's just generally it's less costly that way. And for defense, having lots of firepower, including lots of artillery, is definitely the most helpful. cavalry, the most important thing about cavalry really is just for pursuing a defeated foe after you rout them. And yeah, sometimes I haven't been able to cause as much damage to the enemy armies as I wanted to because of my lack of cavalry. But I consider winning the battle with line infantry firepower and artillery firepower to be more important, so I tend to focus more on them. And I do have fire by, I think I have fire, I believe I have fire by rank by this point. Again, it's been like at least a month since I've actually played this battle, so I don't know exactly what specifications my men right here have, but it's possible they have fire by rank. Well, in any case, you'll be finding out really soon whether they have fire by rank yet or not. I don't think they do. I actually don't think they get into a few turns later. But yeah, I mean, basically I'm showing this battle because it's a very decisive one as far as my war against Poland goes. You'll see why. Okay, now I finally get to deploy my men in the better position here. That's nice. I have my cavalry, my 10 units right there. Unfortunately, they're not going to be very useful. You'll see why. So yeah, again, I do want to rest my flank on this one village, force them to kind of come through this village in a disorganized fashion to attack my left flank. So my left flank is pretty well protected. I mean, it's not very hilly terrain, but they're protected as far as that goes. On my center, I have most of my artillery, so I'm not too concerned for it. The enemy will be blasted by canister shot. And on my right flank, I have this hill here, so I'm fairly well protected here as well. And I have a unit of cavalry, of artillery right here. And I also have a couple of units in reserve as needed, although I think I only put them in reserve because I couldn't extend their flank out before the battle began because we're in the deployment zone limit here. This is also where I keep my cavalry and my general. But yeah, having men in reserve in certain areas is definitely important. You do not want to go without reserves. It's something that I didn't really think about much when I first started playing Total War, but once you get experienced, having reserves is definitely important. Especially behind your artillery, because there is always the risk that your artillery will be overrun. In which case you need to then counterattack the attempted enemy breakthrough with infantry reserves to repulse those. So anyway, the enemy is already obviously deployed. The battle started. But as you can see, they do have some artillery, but unfortunately they're not going to be very useful. And they don't have as much as I do. However, they do have a lot more cavalry. They have, in fact, I think they have like 3 units of cavalry. 3 full units of them. Yeah, that's what it looks like. 3 full units of cavalry, whereas I only have like a quarter of 1 unit. But I believe I have at least 5 units of artillery to their only 2 or 3. So but in this era of warfare, I honestly think artillery is generally more important. Although cavalry certainly did not lack in importance. Not at all, but if I had to choose between having no artillery or having no cavalry, I would choose to have no cavalry. As dubious as that scenario sounds. Did I get them already? I'm going to be getting their artillery really, really soon. It's going to be a good shot, in fact. Oh, I got one of them. Come on. They're gonna get hit really soon, I know that. I said I want to send one unit of my... Oh, I got like 8 of them with that one shot, I think. And... I got another 6 of them. They've almost had enough. They've already lost 1/3 of their men. And even more. Oh, yeah, they're gone. Now they have they're sending in their lancers. See, I tell you, as long as your artillery is prepared, your artillery will beat cavalry each time. You just need to make sure your artillery is in a good position and prepared for the cavalry charge. And you'll be just fine dandy. And see, look. The Uhlans have already lost 6 of their men. Their lancers. Which is quite possibly one of their most effective cavalry forces. And anyway, so it's good that we have that. But the most exciting part of battle is obviously when the enemy gets within range of my canister shot. Then it's going to be no contest. They're sending in their provincial cavalry one more time. Well, a different unit, but... Of course, for a while my artillery just completely missed, but it's not a problem. I think I form them into square. Just on time, but they are gone. They are gone. With not even a single one of my infantrymen killed. Amazing. Oh! Of course, I don't like the fact that my artillery are firing backwards into them. Because I want my guns to be facing forward against their more threatening line infantry. So that means 2 of their 3 cavalry units are now gone. Oh! And I just got 8 more of them. I got 8 of them in one shot with those Uhlans back there. That was a long shot too. But now it's almost time for them to start feeling my canister. Watch this. Oh, look at that. They're 20 down already. Look at that. This is going to be a scene of the most carnage here. So they're thickly settled in this area right here. I kind of got them flanked over here, but let's see what they're doing now. Oh, whoa, Christ! I think I just took out like 40 of them there, possibly, maybe more. Well, anyway, their 19th is just down. Yeah, their 19th has had enough. And their 11th has taken heavy damage as well. Of course, my biggest concern is that they have these Pandors, which means that my 14th is definitely going to be in trouble. Which is why I send in this suicidal cavalry charge with my 10 Lancers, so I can keep their Pandors at bay. I mean, my Llewellyns are not going to be particularly successful, since there are only 10 men in that regiment, attacking a full regiment of Pandors, but I am definitely going to keep the Pandors off my back from attacking my line infantry here. Let's see. So the 19th has already had enough, as have the 10th. And even the 12th seems to have taken its fare too much. The 29th is kind of a more advanced unit there, so they're going to hold out a bit better, but of course my artillery don't seem to actually be firing on them properly. But it's not going to matter. They're gone. And I realize that my line infantry and my cavalry are in trouble, so I need to send this reserve unit here to head off the threat approaching on my right flank. Their 18th should be, yep, their 18th is down. I'm surprised that their 29th is still, oh, nope, not anymore. Their 29th is completely down. Of course, they're sending back their 12th back in, which is not good, because now they're approaching the flank of these guys. See, if the enemy cavalry was actually, like, competent, it would charge into my artillery right now. They had a perfect opportunity to charge into my artillery. And these units, yeah. A perfect opportunity. They even probably could have gotten my general if they had so desired. They might have even been able to take him. But, of course, they miss it. So I send in my 14th to, let's see what's going on here. I think I send these guys in the square, right? Yep. Put these guys in the square. Could I expect them to charge my 12th right here? So I send in my 14th to charge their 10th. Because I expect the shock value of the charge here will actually get them. But unfortunately, the odds here are not favorable at all for doing such a thing. And it looks like I'm about to get them for a second because they're like wavering. But unfortunately, my 14th have simply taken too many losses, and they go down, I believe. So yeah, it's 27 to 56. Yeah, unfortunately my men couldn't take those odds. So they're routed, unfortunately. And even shattered. But alright, their Uhlans are down. Now I just need to take out their 6. And I'm gonna charge them, because I have I outnumber them 2 to 1 here. Not gonna be a problem. And of course their 10th. Their 12th is down completely. I don't even think they took any losses while taking out the 12th. The 6th, I believe, is down. And their 10th. Oh, what? I didn't get them. Oh, yep, no, not even a try. Not even a chance. Now it's basically just their 6th. And I have 89 to their 27. They're dead, and I have more veterancy on them anyway. Yep, they've already lost 100. They're down. That basically, this regiment has pretty much been completely destroyed. And now I just need to charge them into the artillery here, and that'll be the end of the battle. Yeah, they had like 3 units or so of... Yep, and I believe that's the end. Yep, alright, so the battle results were basically 1,063. I had 1,063 men, they had 1,191. I lose 418, which is not light, but not nearly as damaging as their 1,081 losses. Which means, yes, and effectively, they lost more men in their army than I even had in mine. And killed, look. 1,072 killed, I have 1,063. I killed more men than I even had in my own army. So that, despite the heavy losses, I consider that a well worthy victory. Yeah, friendly fire was very light. I only lost 4 to friendly fire, and they only lost 9. Which is very light by Total War standards as far as friendly fire is concerned. Anyway, let's see what the kills are concerned. My Uhlans did terribly, jeez. They killed 5 and lost 9. That kinda sucks. Anyway, demi-cannons. 15, they lost 1, they got 145 kills. That 1 unit demi-cannon got 145 kills. 1 unit of line infantry got 137. Another unit of demi-cannons got 104 kills. Wait, what? Oh. 93, 93. Well, it's obvious which one of these two did better. This unit was almost completely destroyed. It was that one that I sent in charging against odds that were too stiff. That was a bad mistake on my part, but otherwise, this one took heavy losses, but it also got a ton of kills. Heavy losses, but at least more kills than losses. 12-pounder, 71 kills and lost not a single man. 67 kills, not a single one. 62 kills, more than their entire unit even had, and lost none. That's really good for the Pandors. 16 men in his artillery, got 45 kills, good. This is okay. That's not particularly impressive for line infantry, but it's okay, I guess. And of course, the general's bodyguard got 5 kills. I don't know how he did, actually. I don't think did I send him to pursue someone? I don't think I did. But at least he didn't lose anyone. But anyway, that battle, that decisive victory pretty much opens up gives me the key to taking Lithuania, which I do right after this battle concludes. And so that wipes out, like, quite possibly Poland's second most important region after their own home region, which I obviously took early in the game. But yeah, when you last saw me having trouble against Poland, their most important region was definitely Lithuania, and with me capturing this, it basically turns around my fortunes in that war. So, big blow to them, and it's pretty much on a downward turn for Poland's defeat. Poland is definitely losing at this point, so this is probably the most decisive battle that I've fought against them. So yeah, that was a good battle. I'm happy with my victory, where I was even outnumbered, as you can see. So I will call it there, guys, and I will see you all next time.